Good evening. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, and the board meeting is now called to order. It is 6:03 p.m., and all of our board members are present. At this time, Director Parker will read the land acknowledgement.
We are gathered today on the land of the Kalapuya, who are represented by the Confederate Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederate Tribes of Siletz Indians. The relationship between the Kalapuya people and this land continues unbroken to this day. And we offer gratitude for the land and for the generations present and past who have steadward the land since time immemorial. We respectfully acknowledge and honor past, present, and future Native Americans and Indigenous students and staff of Salem-Keizer Public Schools. We invite you to join us in honoring these ancestral grounds and celebrating the resilience and strength of all Native American and Indigenous people.
Thank you very much. At this time, will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent Castaneda, are there any modifications to the agenda?
There are none.
I will turn this portion of the agenda over to Superintendent Castaneda.
Thank you. So I am so pleased tonight to have a very special spotlight. I mean, spotlights are always special, but tonight we are going to have a spotlight that recognizes the Native Ed program, and in particular the month of November, which is a time when we're all recognizing Native history in the United States and then specifically in Oregon. And so tonight what we're going to have is a variety of elements. We'll have some flag bearers and we'll also have some speakers. And so with that, I think I'm going to pause because I think people are on their way in.
Hey, I'd like to thank my parent committee. We have drummers here. We have Kyron Hill and Everett Decker that they came in to drum. And then these are more of your Native American students' parents, and our students are up here. They brought in the flags. That is very important to our tribes, and they want to give them to you. So, and not only that, we have well over 100 Native American tribes represented in this school district with your students. Some of the smaller flags that we had printed off, many of them are not being able to be seen right now because there aren't enough people here to hold them all up. But we just wanted to bring those in for you to see. My team up here, you may go sit down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Director, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight, we are honored to spotlight the Native Education Parent Advisory Committee, an incredible group of family and community members who give their time, wisdom, and care to support our Native students. The Native Education PAC plays an essential role in helping students feel seen, valued, and connected to their culture and heritage. Their dedication not only strengthens academic growth, but also nurtures a deep sense of belonging and pride in identity. Throughout the year, our PAC leads and supports a variety of meaningful events and initiatives. They regularly help organize cultural nights that bring families together to celebrate traditions and share knowledge. This committed group also plans and hosts our annual American Indian Alaskan Native celebration, a joyful gathering that honors students and community through song, dance, storytelling, and delicious food. The PAC also contributes their time and expertise to grant planning, helping to ensure that funding opportunities align with the needs of Native students and families. And every year, they help coordinate the Native graduation celebration, which recognizes the accomplishments of graduating seniors and the generations of family support behind them. The work of the Native Education PAC is so much more than what we can capture in a spotlight and reflects the heart of our mission, creating schools where every student feels supported, connected, and proud of who they are. On behalf of Salem-Keizer Public Schools, our Native Education program, and our community, we want to thank all members of our Native Education PAC for their partnership, advocacy, and steadfast commitment to student success and well-being. So thank you. To my Parent Advisory Committee, please stick around until after the spotlights are done for pictures. So thank you, everybody.
We want to thank you very much, and it's an honor and a privilege to be able to receive these flags, and we will make sure that they are displayed here in the boardroom. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And before we go on to our remaining spotlights, I also just want to thank the whole room, but I also especially want to thank the PAC. And you guys do incredible work all year long. And I only get a small window into it, but the windows I get are always just filled with so much community and joy. So the annual event that was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago is as it always is. And I wish you all had a chance to see and feel it. But it's a room full of music and storytelling and community and friendship and history, and it's just a deeply moving experience every year. And I know that it is hard work to put on, but it means a lot to our district and a lot to our families. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so let's move on. So we have a couple of more spotlights, and I would like to invite Andy Kronzer to the podium, and he is going to provide our staff spotlight. Andy.
All right, good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight, we are proud to spotlight a cross-school collaboration that celebrates creativity, community, and the power of visual arts in education. This Spotlight on Success honors Tara Nunemaker, who is a visual arts, computers, and yearbook teacher at Judson Middle School, and Preston Moore, who is a second grade teacher at Wright Elementary School. Earlier this fall, Tara reached out to Fay Wright teachers with an open invitation to collaborate through cross-school art projects. Her goal was to bring more visual arts, especially ceramics, to elementary students who may not have regular access to hands-on art instruction. Tara hoped to create meaningful connections between Judson and Wright while giving her middle school artists an opportunity to be inspired by younger students. Preston enthusiastically jumped to the opportunity. In his second grade class, students began the year exploring the question, what does it mean to be creative? They practiced developing an artist's eye, taking risks, and embracing the idea that there are no mistakes in art. With this mindset, Preston's students designed their own imaginative monsters and fantasy creatures, each one unique, bold, and full of personality. Those drawings were then sent to Tara's 7th and 8th grade ceramic students, who sculpted their own interpretations as part of their unit. After the pieces were fired in the kiln, the Judson students took a short field trip to Wright to gift the sculptures back to the second grade creators. They also included handwritten letters thanking the young artists for their inspiration and sharing what they learned through the collaboration. This project is more than an art lesson. It highlights how students of different ages can come and learn from one another, how creativity builds confidence, and how a shared experience can strengthen the sense of community across schools. Preston shared how meaningful this collaboration has already been, noting how empowering it is for students to see themselves as artists whose ideas matter to the older students. He looks forward to continuing this work and expanding opportunities for connection. Please join us in celebrating Tara and Preston for their creative leadership and commitment to inspiring students through the arts. Their collaboration truly reflects the spirit of partnership and the belief that every student can discover confidence, joy, and community through creative work. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to our final spotlight tonight, which is our student spotlight. And I would like to invite Dr. Brown from Sprague and Liberty Principal DeLee Brown, and they will present our student spotlights. I see Dr. Brown. I don't see DeLee yet.
Principal Brown is tied up with
Principaling? Yes. Principaling is a 24-hour-a-day job. We understand.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight, we are honored to recognize a remarkable group of student leaders who organized this year's Choose to Stay campaign in honor of Suicide Prevention Month. These students demonstrated compassion, commitment, and a powerful dedication to raising awareness around mental health, an issue that impacts every school community. The success of this campaign would not have been possible without the leadership of 3 outstanding students that stand next to me. Mentorship coordinators Logan Brown and Ariana Silva, along with ASB Service Coordinator Addison Hannant, played essential roles in bringing the Choose to Stay campaign to life. Logan dedicated his time to organizing and supporting student leaders with joy and humility, helping create a space for honest conversations about mental health. Ariana brought energy and positivity, stepping in wherever needed and helping students feel encouraged and supported. Addison partnered with local businesses and community organizations to raise awareness and secure resources that strengthened the campaign. Together, their leadership and teamwork sparked meaningful mental health conversations and made this event a success. Together, these students helped create a powerful moment for our school a reminder that mental health matters, that connection matters, and that choosing to stay is a message we all share responsibility in lifting up. We are incredibly proud of Logan, Ariana, and Addison for their dedication, compassion, and leadership. Their work is a meaningful example of how students can spark change and support one another through awareness, advocacy, and hope. On a personal note, I would like to let you know that the first year of the Choose to Stay campaign was a year after the death of my son, Aaron, at the age of 16. That first year, this brainchild of my wife, Delee, took place in the south parking lot of Sprague High School, and involved about 100 people decorating and taking pumpkins and drinking hot chocolate. This year, the Choose to Stay project was held in the stadium at Sprague High School, and nearly 1,000 people attended. Since my son passed away, people ask us routinely, how do you two keep going? The answer lies in experience that we had this year at the event. I was sitting and watching things happen at one of the tables, and a young lady of high school age who I did not know came up to me and sat down. I'm sorry. And with tears in her eyes, explained that the night before, she had considered taking her own life, and that she had found a postcard or a flyer. Thank you. She had found a flyer for this year's Choose to Stay event in her backpack and pulled it out and decided that she would wait and come to this event. And we sat there and she said, I want you to know that I have decided to choose to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we keep going. It is through the efforts of people like these three young people standing to my left who see an effort bigger than themselves and a vital effort to connect and help each other to be able to choose to stay. Please join me in recognizing these outstanding students for their contribution to the Choose to Stay campaign and for their continued commitment to building a supportive and connected school community. Thank you.
We absolutely want to recognize the three students who are part of our spotlight, and I'll just take a moment to expand it slightly. I got a chance to visit Crossler in the same week as Choose to Stay, and there was so much activity at Crossler. Now it's a movement that spans many of our schools and touches so many people. And although Dr. Brown has stepped out and Delee is principaling, I will say on their behalf that their daily contributions to our community are incalculable. And they show up every day and continue to give this gift of their own skill and love and profound commitment to the young people of Salem-Keizer. And so in addition to recognizing our three students, I also just want to recognize both of them. All right, so with that, I think what we'll do is pause, and we're gonna go over to take a few photos for anyone who's interested, and we'll start with our pack and then move on to other spotlight photos. Thank you.
So our Native Children and Advisory Committee, please come on up.
also want our staff or just the PAC? We'll have to, okay, so staff. We want to go to their
Some of the directors are gone. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to give this to everybody. All the copies.
Every parent has a thing. Thank you.
Good job, guys. Doing good. How about you? I'd like to.
I know. All the spotlights.
And they were so very moving.
I didn't actually realize those two were married until tonight.
Brian?
Yeah.
Wait, who? Frank. Oh, yeah.
Can I take Mike's for you guys?
Yeah. Thank you. Superintendent, super flag carrier.
Now we will move to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chair. It so happens that my report tonight is very targeted and coincidentally involves Dr. Brown just a little bit. So we have these periodic meetings between and amongst faith leaders, and I feel privileged to be able to join them. And In one of the meetings, one of the person talked about the importance of awe and how critical the feeling of being in awe of something is for our wholeness and our sense of like spiritual and personal wellness. And the ways that we can feel awe, you know, it can be religious, it can be in nature. There's so many ways to feel it, but when we feel it, we know that it is special. And over the last weekend, I had a chance to attend some of Salem-Keizer's musical theater. And one of them happened to be Sprague's. It was Mamma Mia, which isn't always known for creating a sense of awe, as musical theater goes. Jolie was there as well, actually. But I think that the thing that I want to share is that music in Salem-Keizer is actually one of those things that we do. We contribute awe to the world and the community through such spectacular performances. And that's more than just a discipline, it's more than a skill, it's more than an event. It's something that we give to the community, and it's something that the community has learned to love about us. And so I'll just specifically, I did get a chance to go to Guys and Dolls, but Mamma Mia at Sprague, it was the closing night, and it was awe-inspiring in part because the audience was so filled with sheer joy. I mean, it is what ABBA does to so many of us, but to fill an entire, there was like not a seat open. And there were portions where we got to sing along, and there were portions where students were performing all through the aisles. And I'm sharing it with you to say that there are so many things that we do that are measurable. And then there are things that we do that are not measurable, like creating spaces where people feel a sense of awe, both for what students have created, but also just to be so profoundly lucky to be together having a experience that is created for no purpose other than our shared joy. And so I guess this is a long way of recognizing all of our students who work so hard on productions like that, but also just to acknowledge that we talk a lot about measurement, and not everything that we do is strictly speaking measurable. Some of the most important things we do absolutely defy measurement, and those are the things that sometimes give us the most. And so with that, I will hand it back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear an update regarding the purchase of property in support of alternative education from Chief Operations Officer Paul Odenthal.
Thank you, Chair Richardson, Superintendent Castaneda, directors, student advisors. Thank you for the time tonight. As you may recall, in the June timeframe of this year, the board approved that we move forward and look at an opportunity on a property to negotiate and purchase for the future of our alternative education programs. I'm excited tonight to tell you that on the 7th of November, we closed on that property at the approved price of the $15.5 million and change that you approved. And so we now own that property. We will take possession of it in December. It's a great property that will serve the future needs of our alternative education as we get into planning and our bond or long-range facility plan. So as you may know, our alternative education program is split across different sites throughout the district. It's been wedged into facilities that were not purpose-built for that piece, and this will allow us to consolidate those programs into a purpose-built facility as we renovate it in the next bond to serve the needs of our students. The facility also will allow us to move one of our data centers that is the only remaining function we have in the Paulus Center in downtown Salem. We will move that data center into this new building, which has as it was a Wells Fargo call center, it has a very robust backbone for that data center that we can move in there. And with that, we'll be able to come to you and discuss the disposition of the Paulus Center and what we will do with that. Also, as we make those changes in the future of moving alternate education, we'll be able to look at other properties for disposition and leases that we can end that are expensive to the district and make a good proposition for us. The value proposition for this property very high. Also, and again, we will have to invest in the property as we do our next bond and have those discussions. But the reality is this facility, the way it's built and what we can do in there is much more cost effective than if we were to start from a greenfield or even a renovation of one of our other existing buildings that doesn't have the structure that this provides. So it was a great opportunity, and we appreciate the board's foresight in moving forward on this project. Our next pieces on this, we are working through the rezoning of the property. Right now it's industrial park, and we will move it to industrial commercial as we work through over the next year. It's probably about a year-long process, but that will allow us to use it as a school. We're also working and discussing the data center relocation, and also we will start now deeper into conceptual design. We had some programmatic work we did for numbers at this for renovation, but we'll get into more of the actual numbers and pieces of that in the long-range facility plan process. And thank you, Chair Richardson. I'm happy to take any questions that the board may have.
Thank you very much. Yes, Director.
Thank you so much.
Chrissy.
So thanks for sharing that presentation. We understand that closure has taken place. I think that some public might be interested to hear some of the things that we just discussed. I got to hear again, maybe a reiteration and may not be to them of the savings as a whole moving forward. So the fact that that will save money because of the leases and the sales of the other properties for this one. So the investment of that, rather than coming up with all new funds and being, you know, moving forward, being yet another higher expense as we sit today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Director Hudson. I'd say, so as we look at the Paulus property and the potential to sell that, these other leases, it will offset some of that purchase price that we have now going into the property. We're still early in the evaluation of all those properties and the timeline of when we'll be able to access those or do that work and come back to you with that proposal for that disposition. That will offset some of the purchase price that we currently have now, and over time with the leases is a good value proposition. We still have to invest in this property in the next bond to turn it into a school. It is a call center, but it's an open shell that allows us to do that work much more economically than we would if we were working on another renovation or have to develop a full site. The site does have a lot of parking, so there's parking, there's the infrastructure and ground, the utilities that we don't have to bring to the site that we would if we were looking at a new site for this this type of endeavor.
Because the idea was it is a potential relief in our pocketbook in the future as far as the maintenance of a lot of our buildings that were getting very old. One of the things as far as the reason why we were looking at this. Additionally of its value in itself. So if we were ever in a big pickle, we'd sell it and make a profit off of it as well. Correct?
Certainly it reduces some of our maintenance burden on existing facilities. And if we did choose to, it is buying real estate is an investment. So if we did choose to access the property again, it would accrue more value if we had made that decision. I think part of this, though, is we look at the investment in our students for alternative education. This is a very wise investment for the school district, for our students, but then also financially as we look at our future facility planning needs.
Thank you very, very much. I'd like to introduce Heidi Sun, Chief Financial Officer for the Q1 financial update.
Thank you. Good evening. Chair Richardson, Superintendent, Board of Directors, and student advisors. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you our first quarter financial overview. So just before we jump into that, just a couple of things, little reminders. Our fiscal year corresponds more closely with the school year than the calendar year. It begins on July 1 and ends on June 30th. And so we are currently in our quarter one report shares the results that are from July 1 through September 30th for the fiscal year that we're currently in, which is fiscal year 2026. So if you want to go ahead and advance the slide, and we do have, I think, a color printout. If that's a little bit hard to read, apologies for that. So just going to kind of walk through this a little bit. I'm going to first talk about when we talk about budgeted expenses, we are talking about the amount that we can spend based on our adopted budget. And when we talk about actual expenses, which when we look at the graph across, on the bottom there, we see some are actual and some are forecasted. And the actual expenses are costs that we've actually spent, and forecasted expenses are the amount that we think we will spend based on the best available information that we have at this point in time. So we want to talk to you a little bit about, I'll orient you to the graph. So the black line shows our general fund balance, and the blue line shows our revenue and reflects the amount that we're getting from the state in our general fund, and the orange line shows our expenses. The first thing that I want to do is call your attention to fiscal year 24-25. The district's audited financial statements are still in the process of being finalized and will be presented in our annual comprehensive financial report, which is published publicly. We expect the ending fund balance for that fiscal year to be approximately $95.7 million. And the highlight that we want to talk about here is if you see where that's at, the orange line and the blue line, right there, the 576 and the 576 for expenses and for annual expenses align. And what that means is that we spent the amount we got. This is the result of some challenging and painful and necessary adjustments that were made in 2024. And now, if we look at the current year, fiscal year 25-26, we see that we're forecasting our expenses to outpace our revenues by about $25 million. And that will in turn reduce our fund balance from $96 million down to $71 million for the end of this fiscal year. And this is a $25 million gap that we have shared and talked about quite a bit recently, and we've talked about that with our employees and with our broader community, and that's important to recognize there. The 594 in forecasted revenue reflects that we're currently forecasting for general fund revenue, and it's consistent with the supplemental budget that we approved and adopted at the school board meeting in October. So when we budget expenses, we assume that we would spend all of our current year annual revenues, and that we might spend a little bit of our savings that we have, our fund balance. But we also reserve a portion of that fund balance. We put that aside as a contingency for unforeseen circumstances, for things that might come out. So that's always our practice. So what this forecast lets us know is that it says that we are planning right now to spend $619 million, and that's actually about $19.1 million less than we budgeted in the general fund this year. And that includes most of that, $18.2 million, is salaries and payroll that's less than what we budgeted to expend this year. And most of that is driven by anticipated staffing vacancies, and we have a plan to spend for the full year, and we'll have vacancies and we'll create savings out of that. And so that's what the bulk of that is. And then about $900,000 is in other things, supplies, material purchases, expenses. And so looking ahead, in late January, we'll bring you or early February, we'll bring you an updated quarter two forecast, highlight what's changed since this point in time. This is our forecast at this point in time. And as we know more, we'll change that. And we'll come back and share that progress on the year. And that concludes my remarks, unless there are any questions.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So,
Director Sati?
so, I mean, there was a public comment. That's the reason I just wanted to kind of acknowledge that because there was a question about, we are not yet clear, 19th of November or so, when the state will be able to finally kind of share the financial reality of where it stands. So the question I have is, if that comes, will there be a presentation sooner, which will allow us to make a supplemental budget change and maybe change the revenue if it is going in the good direction?
So I think what you're referring to, Director Chandragiri, is the revenue forecast, which is tomorrow. And the minimum that will happen tomorrow is the state will share publicly information about how Oregon's economy is tracking and what they believe our anticipated revenue will be compared to the last forecast, which was in August. I do not anticipate, and I hope I am not wrong, I do not anticipate that there will be big announcements about certainty around mid-year reductions as soon as tomorrow. What I think is more likely is that if there are announcements in that category, they'll be part of the lead up to the short session and would require legislative action. In the chance that there are very severe mid-year reductions, it is possible we would need to bring you a supplemental. But I am reluctant to even breathe life into that as a concept, because it would be so devastating if we came to that point. What I believe is more likely, and also frankly much better for every school district in Oregon, is that if there are mid-year reductions, that the department is successful in absorbing some of those reductions in other funds and sheltering the state school fund, which is the primary funding source for schools. So I think maybe that's a long way of saying we hope not. We very much hope not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. It is now time for public comment portion of the school board meeting. As a reminder, all audience members are subject to immediate removal if you engage in abusive, threatening, vulgar, or hate speech, including speech articulated on signs and clothing, which violate the district's harassment and/or every student belongs policy. Please note, we provide an opportunity for public comment by virtual call-in, in person, or in writing. Electronic mechanisms are used for translation. Each participant has 3 minutes. We have a countdown timer on screen for monitoring time. The timer counts down from 3 minutes at 30 seconds, and it turns from green to yellow at 1 second. It turns red and plays a short bell to signal time is up. Please be mindful of your pace for our interpreters. If the board receives written comment ahead of the meeting, the written comment will be posted on the district website. Tonight, one person signed up and has been selected to comment. At this time, will Hannah Rudder please come forward?
Good evening, Superintendent Castaneda, Chair Richardson, Board of Directors, and student advisors. My name is Hannah Rudder, and I'm a 4th grade teacher at Sumter Elementary School. I've been teaching for 9 years in the Salem-Keizer School District, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today regarding the district's decision to block the website Teachers Pay Teachers. I am disappointed by this decision because it limits the instructional resources available to teachers striving to provide high-quality, differentiated instruction. As educators, we know that a single curriculum does not meet the diverse needs of all of our students. In my classroom this year, I have 30 students, and abilities range from kindergarten to 7th grade. Teachers Pay Teachers has allowed me to access materials that help bridge those gaps while still anchoring instruction in our district-approved curriculum. During the 2024 and 2025 school year, I taught a blended 3rd and 4th grade classroom, and I had 31 students, 22 3rd graders and 9 4th graders. I used Teachers Pay Teachers resources for morning work, novel studies, targeted interventions, and enrichment activities for my TAG students. The results speak for themselves. On the state math assessment, OSAS, 50% of my 3rd graders scored a level 4. 20% scored a level 3, meaning 14 of my students, 14 3rd graders, demonstrated proficiency. In literacy, 47% of my 3rd graders scored a level 4, and 21% scored a level 3, totaling 13 proficient 3rd graders in literacy. I firmly believe that access to Teachers Pay Teachers materials played a significant role in helping my blended class achieve these strong outcomes. When I learned that Teachers Pay Teachers had been blocked, I felt frustrated and disappointed, not only because the decision was not communicated clearly or consistently, but also because no rationale was provided. As a licensed teacher with a master's degree and nearly a decade of experience, it felt like a dismissal of my professional judgment and my ability to responsibly select appropriate supplemental resources for my students. I respectfully urge the district to reconsider this decision. Allowing qualified, highly skilled educators to access additional instructional tools will only strengthen our ability to meet student needs and support their long-term success. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll take a short break. It's 6:51. Let's return at 7 o'clock. Thank you. Next on our agenda are the first reading candidate materials for the OSBA Board of Directors, position 11 for Marion County, and the Legislative Policy Committee, positions 11 and 12 for Marion County. The board will vote as a whole body at the December meeting. The board will vote as a whole body at the December meeting. So please make sure to review all candidate materials. Superintendent Castaneda, do you have anything else to add?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent Castaneda, do you wish to provide further review of any item listed on the consent calendar?
No, thank you, I do not.
Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make that motion.
Director Harnish. Is there a second? Director Parker. Any discussion?
You don't need it.
I'm sorry. At this time, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. As a reminder, everything in the Information Standard Reports section is provided for the board's review ahead of the meeting. Superintendent, do you have anything to add?
No, I do not, thank you.
Okay. That takes us to our board reports section of the agenda, where directors and student advisors share work from formal committee assignments and activities of the board related to youth programs and school district activities since the last board meeting. At this time, we'll hear from board members and student advisors. I'm going to start with our student advisor. Jackson.
I'm gonna take this spot to brag a bit. So our volleyball team, our Sprague volleyball team, is currently first in the state. It's really cool to be able to like honor these like really hardworking people for getting where they are now. And on the topic of hard work, I also want to mention the Mamma Mia performance, and I'm so glad you said something. Thank you. It's so incredible to see just like the talent and the hard work that goes into either being either like acting or being like a stage manager or part of the crew, or even like in the pit as part of the band or orchestra. I was able to see that play, and it was an incredible experience.
Thank you. Yes.
I would also like to talk a bit about Mamma Mia. It was phenomenal, and one of my really close friends, Elizabeth Hershey, was one of the leads, Donna, and she's a senior this year, and like seeing her perform, it made me so emotional. Like I was on the edge of tears because I've seen her in so many productions, and it, like one of the things it made me think about was how theater community is such a home. Like some kids, like in their own homes, it doesn't feel like home, but theater can really like create such safe spaces for kids to just express themselves and meet new kids. Like I'm in Wizard of Oz at South right now. We're doing rehearsals, and it's just great to see so many kids come together. That's an aspect of theater I really love. And like another thing I'd like to highlight is when we do have to make budget cuts, like it's really important to have these programs like this because it really gives students something to be a part of and enjoy. Another thing, today at South we had our Latino and Native Club Assembly, which was really awesome, and Latino Club did many dances, and they had they invited the students to come down and dance, and it was really fun. And then Native Club also did dances and invited us to come down and participate and learn new dances, and it was really cool to see and learn about their cultures because that's part of what makes our community so unique and special, and is the beauty of all the different students we have at schools. Another thing I'd like to bring up is on Halloween, I went to the Equity Summit called Northwest Regional Cass-State Alliance for Fall Equity Summit 2025. Jackson also went, and about like 10-ish other students from Salem-Keizer we went. And so there was 4 breakout sessions in it. Like you could go to different ones. The ones I attended was one about suicide for kids and teens, and there was an emphasis on Black students and also what actions can be taken to help these kids. And another breakout group I went to that is really relevant right now was about ICE and how it has affected our Hispanic and Latino students and communities, and like how every day they are having to live in fear, and it's a really it's a hard on our community. And it was led by a 20-year-old girl. Both her parents are citizens now, but it's like it's still, even for her, it's super scary, and it's just tough times we're in, and we really need to support people from all communities right now because that's what makes our district so incredible. And another breakout group I went to was about rumors and how they can affect students, their mental health, and even like break apart friendships, and like how it's important to stop this and things like that. And the last breakout group I went to, I was so surprised. It was ran by a sixth grader. He was so well spoken. Like I was like, whoa. Like I don't know. Like if he was in Salem-Keizer, I'm like, he should be up here when he's my age. But it was about the importance of belonging, and he talked about like community building activities you can do in classrooms, like just like games and different things, but how they really help students feel involved and things like that. But it was a really great experience, and I'm glad I got to attend, and I gained a lot of knowledge and insight from it. Thank you.
Director Mel Fuller.
Thank you, Chair. Last Tuesday on the 11th, I believe Veterans Day, I'm going to keep talking about ICE. I don't even know the final count of how many people were picked up. Does anybody know? Have they? 24? 26 was the last number I saw. Okay. So all of those happened in my zone, Karina's zone, and Cynthia's zone. I am conflicted. I don't know what to do about it. There's not a lot I can do. It's awful. And I just want to, again, remind people to please update your contacts, your emergency contacts with the school. Have a plan. Just be ready. Just going to allow a couple minutes of space for that, a couple seconds of space. And now I'll talk about all the fun stuff. Last Saturday, I, along with Jennifer, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder with this, we were guest judges at the robotics competition at South, and it was so much fun. It was a long day, it was a long shift, but it was really great to see kids from all over come and present their best work to us that they'd worked really, really hard on. And my first response when I was asked to judge was, oh my gosh, this is like really scientific. I'm a musician. These kids put their heart and soul into this. I don't know if I'm the best person to say who did the best job, but I went and I learned, and it wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't intimidated anymore after I got there, but it was really fun. This past week I attended Candelaria and walked with Ruby Bridges and that group there. I was sometime, I don't know, I can't keep track of everything I do between comments. It's hard, but I was onboarded to the Council of Governments Board. That's something that we get to do here on the district, some of us just as a representative of the school board. I think one really exciting thing that happened is that the library reopened on Sundays. Our public library is now open Saturdays and Sundays. Sunday was the first time that they had reopened that they had been open in over 2 years, and I was invited to come and play the fiddle. And so I called some of my friends. We called our band the Fiddle Phone Tree because I was asked to come and play, and I didn't want to do it by myself, so I activated the Fiddle Phone Tree, and a bunch of us showed up, and that's what we got. But it was really, really fun. And finally, the last thing I will talk about is that this Thursday is the first time that I'm going to, well, it's not the first time, but of this size, we're hosting a community meal at Center 50 Plus. I've partnered with a woman named Ariel Lovell from Queer Meal Collective, and we have decided both to gather some resources and some volunteers and put on a holiday meal. I've got 3 turkeys in my fridge that I gotta cook tomorrow. But everyone's invited. It's open to anyone, there's no cost, and it's at Center 50 Plus at 6 p.m. on Thursday, so I hope you'll come and see us. All ages, anybody that shows up is hungry can eat. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Parker?
Hello. I got the privilege to go to the OSBA conference in Portland about a week and a half ago, and it was really great. I got to meet a lot of different people from different districts and learn how things are going with them, listen to their stories. Just I learned a lot about how to approach working with boards, getting along, working with the superintendent, working with the community. It was a wonderful experience. I had a lot of fun learning, doing that. And then again, on Saturday, well, as Mel said, I got to go to the robotics, and that was at first too, as she said, it was a little intimidating, especially looking at all those kids in their engineering notebooks. If you've ever seen them all make, they're amazing. They are amazing. I can't believe the quality of work those young kids can do. And then the other last one that I have, I got to go to Lee Elementary School for the bike safety. And that was a lot of fun. And all the little kids got little ribbons, and I got a little ribbon too. And right. Anyway, so they showed off their bicycle skills, their safety skills, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Guzman-Ortiz.
I'll be brief. I guess what comes to mind is it's been a busy month, but it's also been a hectic month. And Director Harnish was also there. Marion Polk Food Share was distributing food boxes to some of our families and just spending some time out there. And, you know, it's great to see our community coming together, district staff coming together, community members coming together to do that, and just recognizing that it's just such a challenge that families have been in over the last month with the uncertainty and a pause on food benefits, SNAP benefits, and so I just, you know, there's a nice piece of being a community, and also just recognizing that families have been in a really, really hard place. And the incidents, ICE incidents, of course, that have happened over the last several weeks, which have really hurt children, have really hurt families, and I know that we are all feeling that and seeing that, and it's, you know, just like reminder that all of our students belong, all of our families belong in our district, and that is our role, right, to step up and support. And I'm glad for the work that the board has also done to, alongside superintendent and district, to be clear on our safety protocols, and just again messaging how important it is for students to be at school. And I know that that's also hard for families right now and to show up. So thanks to every school leader who is supporting, and all of our schools and educators who are supporting families through the uncertainty, through the fear, and the heartbreak that they're experiencing right now. I'll leave it there.
Thank you. Director Harnish.
All right. Yes, it was an absolute pleasure to help with the food boxes, and I know Director Fuller was there right before we were crossing paths. So I think. I got my picture. Okay, great. Thanks. Good for you. So that was it was really wonderful to see the community together, and I think that's really sort of the theme for my report today. Was also invited to the Candelaria Ruby Bridges Walk. Unfortunately, I was unable to go, so I'm going to turn this into a little PSA. I got my COVID and flu shot on Thursday afternoon, and I was a wreck all day Friday, so I didn't go. But I extended my apologies to that, and I loved seeing everybody's pictures that I saw online of those events, and I'm just really proud that our district honors and recognizes that important historical moment, and it really is just a teaching moment for our students, and I think it's more important now than ever for us to do that. Was also able to attend the Chambers event, where Superintendent was just the most gracious speaker and powerful speaker at that event, and I was really proud as a board member to be there and just hear the conviction by which, like, we know that our test scores are not what they need to be, and putting context around that, and not making any excuses. And this is us really leveling up and doing the work that we need to do. And it was just a very powerful afternoon, and frankly inspiring. So thank you for that. As I think about, our community really coming together, I think that, there are so many storms that are happening, and there's such goodness that is also happening. We talked about the food boxes. We talked about the community coming together to support families who might be impacted by some of the happenings with DHS and ICE. But there's also a lot of magical moments, and I'm going to pull on literacy because that's near and dear to my heart. But there are so many different literacy opportunities where the community is really stepping up to create moments. Literacy nights. There is a thing this evening at East Salem Center that bringing parents together around how they can support children at home. There's different book giveaways. There's a lot of things that are happening, and it's bringing the community together to do that. And I think it's the community saying it's not the school alone. The school plays obviously a really big role in that, but it's the community as well. So, and the Salem Reporter also just ran an article this week too that I thought was very well done. And then also, I'm very excited to start on the long-range facilities plan that was mentioned by Paul. I've had the honor and pleasure of being on that as a community member before, and that's one of the most exciting things to think about our environments for children and how important they are. So I'm excited to kick that off this next week. So I'll report more on that later. And then finally, these, particularly tomorrow morning with the economic forecast, this week, of course, is all the legislative hearings where every agency is offering some potential, budget recommendations on reductions, which are always really, really, really hard on everybody. And I think it's so important for us as a community and as a board to really, we have to weather those things, and we have to make sure that we're keeping our children and our families at the center of every decision that we're making. And we have hard decisions to make, hard decisions, but I know that we can do it by coming together as a board, as a district, and as a community. So, thank you.
Director Hudson.
Thank you. I'll try to keep it, pretty short. Going down the line, Mamma Mia, yep, family opening night, exciting. We waited years for Mamma Mia to do some sort of run through again in our area to see in person. And we missed McNary's because they were sold out every day. So I was like, I wanted to tell them, you guys could capitalize so much if you could just run it a little long before they started. But it was so cool. It was amazing. You're right, your friend Donna, how just suddenly, her voice just captivated. Coming out of such a young person, it's just amazing. And just like the natives with their drumming here, it's just something that kind of stops you in your tracks and captures, I guess, your soul, your heart a little bit, as far as just hopefully everyone that can, I'm sure everyone was touched that saw her, but also just remember, just pause in the busyness and the chaos of life in general and all the things, and just enjoy moments, and that there's good, and kids thrive, and that gives us all hope. Old people like me anyway. So thank you, kiddos, for that. It's neat to see, the different sports, winter sports starting, and the kids thrive there. Robotics, yeah, speaking of cuts, that's one that definitely cannot, because it's so amazing to see, like you said, the focus and intent, but all of the paths that simple program provides those kiddos, as far as the different schools that they can do, the different career paths that they can take with that. Absolutely amazing. And it's another one that I saw that captures different styles of personality and student across the board, which again, super, super important. So I'm glad that you girls got to see that. And then the chamber, it was neat to see the room packed and people, the community not giving up on us. We all do our part to try to be here for these kiddos, and you all grow so fast, and you should be honored. You should be honored all the time and every day. And it is such a privilege to be here, to help to try to have even the tiniest voice, to help try to give you the best future that you deserve. And so when we have our stats that provide numbers that are not appealing and do eventually cause a lot of people to give up, it was neat to see so many still interested in that. So it's important that we all show up and share that information because they want to know, they want to help. So, and thank you guys for being here. It's so wonderful. So I don't know, I was going to say some more and I can't remember what it was. So just thank you all again, and the groups for being here today, and Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. I think that touched us all. In my daily life, I deal with that quite a bit with people, and I have my own personal history, whichever. But it's so interesting how you can be that one voice and that one spark in a stranger's life that you don't even realize they needed to hear right at that moment. And that was so neat about the story that he shared. I was thankful that the school, I don't know if he was a vice principal, sorry, had the courage to share today, because it's true that we can be there for people if we're just willing to open up and we don't even know. But the fact that she opened up that flyer at that time, no matter what we do, if we feel a calling to follow a certain path, it's so important, I think, that we honor it, because you don't know what's going to come of that. And maybe it's not what you thought at first, but again, just following it. So I'm just thankful he did. I got to serve and help, turned out teach a whole bunch of teen mamas this last week too, how to make pumpkin pies and apple pies for Thanksgiving. So just another one of those random things that you fall into. And we got to serve them a meal, and that was an honor as well. They come from hard backgrounds as well, and it was nice to not to see them forgotten. They're trying to raise babies, and you know, they're babies themselves, a lot of we moms and parents would consider. And so again, just knowing that they have people that are here for them. And it can be scary living on someone's couch and not going to school because you don't have money for laundry and all the things, but again, I'm thankful that our community provides places to capture and catch every little youth, as long as, like I said, we just keep doing our part to try to show up and show them that we're here for them. So thank you all for being your individual corner of the world, and our community. Thank you.
Dr. Sandy Gary.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to attend the Ruby Bridges walk in Battle Creek Elementary. That was wonderful. Principal Pratt's was there, and that was fun. Amazing. Those kids are full of energy, and a bunch of photographs which I shared with you. Mm-hmm. I also got an opportunity after all these years to participate, to attend your Equity Advisory Committee. Thank you, Superintendent. That was a nice opportunity, and I got to share a little bit about India, you know, talking of diversity, and it's a big population. It's just about 1.46 billion with plenty of languages and things like that. So I got to share a little bit of that, and I also got to travel to India last week. I just got back, and thank you for accommodating that IT people that I could join the school board meeting. I hope I didn't violate any policy sitting so far and participating. You know, as long as bulk of the quorum stayed here, that's okay, because you are supposed to have it within the school boundaries. So I just joined, and I really appreciate being there in that meeting. I really appreciate, and I appreciate Superintendent taking over an hour. For me, it was middle of the night or something like that, and but explaining all the challenges, and I said I have to be there, so that allowed me. While I was there, I went and visited a 900 years old temple, which was built over 300 years. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And like 200-300 kids from all schools were there. It's like an open classroom. That's when it kind of made me think the world itself is a classroom in some sense. There's so much. And it was free, so it was like an open classroom. And then some nonprofit invited me to come and speak. It's a small rural high school with 200 kids. The medium of instruction was Urdu, so I could speak a little bit of Hindi, so they wanted me to talk to the kid. And I did. And they wanted to know more about our schools, all those kids. And they all come from very impoverished background. The parents work in the sericulture industry. They grow the silkworms and prepare the thread, not the weaving part, everything that goes before. And these kids are amazing. They just wanted to know what we do. So that was the whole focus of, I just opened the question. I didn't know what to talk, so I just asked them, what do you want to hear? So then they wanted to know about our schools and things like that. So there they grow up speaking 3 languages, even though the medium of instruction is Urdu, so even the math, science, everything is in Urdu, but they can speak fluent English and Kannada. And so I really was amazed how education is so sought after, and English language is so sought after worldwide. And pretty much everybody's hands went up and they said, what do you want to be, like computer science. So that to me spoke of what equity should all about be. It's like jump start. It doesn't matter where you begin, but you have a ability to think of, upward mobility. And that kind of growth mindset is what I came home with. And I shared some of those photographs with superintendent and chair from there, because I was so excited to sit and talk to these kids that I wanted to share right then before coming back. So that was my little report. And thank you very much.
Superintendent Castaneda.
I don't usually get to participate in board reports, but I do want to very briefly say that in late October, I got a chance to see Jackson, and not just Jackson, but you're who I was watching at the final marching band competition at West. And it was so great. And I want to share something that he said when I talked to him, which was, he was like, this is the last one. I feel kind of emotional. And that made me feel emotional too. And I just want to acknowledge all the hard work that went into that performance, and also just 4 great years of doing such spectacular work.
Wow, we have so many beautiful, full reports this evening. I'll be quick. This evening, the Native American population that came and shared their flags with us was just remarkable. I serve on the State Board of Education, and the elders also came to the State Boardroom and displayed all of the flags from each one of the tribes, and they are hanging in the State Boardroom now. And we had students there that were drumming. I do believe that recording of that event should be played for every student in our school district to be able to take part of that history. It was a moment in history, and the students and the parents and the elders were so emotional and so moved that I think everybody should have an opportunity to see that. Another event I attended over the last couple of months was the Roberts Culture Fair. It was huge. There were displays everywhere, and families came and they ate and they played games, they carved pumpkins. It was just a great gathering of staff, parents, students, and families. The Ruby Bridges events that were held this past week were just marvelous. Ruby Bridges is 2 years older than me, so I also was a student of segregation and integration, and so when I went to schools to read, I was able to share my personal experiences with the students. And then I think I surprised them, because I asked them a question. I said, when I read Ruby Bridges' book to you, they only talk about Black students and white students. Where was everybody else? Little boy raised his hand. I'm Native American. My family was on the reservation. Another little boy raised his hand. He says, I'm Hispanic. My family was in Mexico. Another little boy said, I'm an islander, and we were in the island. It just thrilled me that kids knew their history, and that's important. to make sure that they know that they were not left out, but they just were not a part of that experience. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I read at Washington Elementary, Battle Creek Elementary. I walked with students and staff and legislators and elected officials at Inglewood, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful event. Ruby Bridges sent a video to us thanking Oregon for passing the bill to make November 14th Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. Wear your purple on next November 14th and find a school and students to walk with. It's a great experience. I also had the privilege of this past weekend being in a conflict resolution workshop that was provided by some community members for families and students to help students understand the processes that they should take when they have conflicts. Instead of taking matters into their own hands, what is the appropriate way to handle those type of situations? It was really, really, really well done and well received. And I was at the Chamber of Commerce when our illustrious superintendent spoke and just, oh yes, it was all that and more. Just did an outstanding job. I really hope that was videoed because people all over this city need to hear and see the truth. And she doesn't, try to make excuses. This is where we are, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, and, we're gonna get this done. We're making improvement, and that's what people need to know and believe. Anyway, I think I'll stop there. It's been a wonderful month. Yes, yes, yes. And it's currently 7:35, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.